Welcome to BUNIYAAD podcast by Dr. Monica Nagpal. We did not inherit this world like this. Then how can we give this to our next generation in this form? We need to reflect mindfully on our core values and make conscious efforts towards protecting the planet and also achieve all sustainable development goals. With BUNIYAAD, I, Monica Nagpal, will bring to fore sustainability champions who are striving to bring back harmony with the nature and also dignity of each life. Namaskar दोस्तों. Today again we are here with yet another episode of BUNIYAAD, laying the foundation of sustainable living. And today we have with us Arushi Sana. Welcome, Arushi.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for having me here today.
So Arushi is a founder of NYK. lot of things are coming up. So NYK Daily, and she will tell us what is this NYK. It is not New York Times, something like that, but she will tell us what is it all about. NYK Daily, and she's also a founder of Santara Industries. So what is this all about? Because we are on a sustainability podcast, and what is a daily doing here, and what is this enterprise is all about? We all are going to understand all of this from Arushi when she introduces herself. So I will request Arushi to please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for the introduction and for letting me talk about it as well. NYK Daily is our news company, which we founded in 2019. And we have a team of global journalists who curate the news for us. We also work with PR agencies to advertise a lot of companies and the initiatives that they are doing and on our news website. And we have a lot of part-time content writers as well who curate the non-news columns for us. And lately, since the last couple of years, there's been a lot of emphasis on sustainability, nature, science, wildlife, and not just because I am passionate about climate change, but because I think it's a journalistic responsibility for us to make people aware across age groups and, about the kind of degradation of the environment that's been happening and the solutions that exist today to combat it. And this year we launched a biopellet factory by the name of Santara Industries, which is our second company, and we basically make bio coal from agricultural waste. So it is a replacement of traditional black coal, which emits so much carbon, which while burning, and also the process of sourcing it is so carbon intensive in terms of the mining. So our product actually completely removes that, removes the requirement of traditional black coal. And we also support farmers by buying out their waste, and which is the raw material for our end product, which is the pellet. So these pellets are then used to generate electricity across factories in and around Nagpur. And it's like a one-stop waste to wealth product. And we're very happy that we're able to play a small role in combating not just climate change, but also in empowering communities around us. And I had the privilege of being the COP28 UAE social media ambassador for change last year. And my 3 days in the conference were also very enlightening in terms of I think it gave me a much needed global perspective on climate action. And because we, of course, like naturally, I was quite India centric. My knowledge, my actions, everything was quite India centric till last year. And but the conference really changed all of that for me. And I got to learn from some of the best experts in renewable energy, climate financing, and who are helping in easing the transition from conventional sources of power to renewable forms. And especially because we are also now entering the renewable energy sector, so it was a much needed lesson for me. And I've also been lecturing a lot of students and government forums.
So, Arushi, I will take a break here from you, and because we are going to talk about sustainability in the impact section in great detail. This is your introduction section. I want you to introduce yourself, not what you're doing, but how did you start, as
Okay.
what did you learn? What did you study? I want your introduction, not your
Okay.
company's
Okay.
introduction.
Okay. So I did my bachelor's in computer science engineering from BIT Vellore, and I did my master's in marketing analytics from IIM Nagpur. And once I'd finished my BTech, I went on to work in the corporate sector for 1.5 years in Deloitte and Ernst and Young, where I was into forensic data analytics. And then my husband and I set up NYK Daily, which stands for Now You Know. And I took care of all the technical aspects, from analytics to web development to SEO. And then I also was so you asked me how I got into sustainability, and
That is my
I
next
think,
question. That is my
yeah.
next question. So
Okay.
Arushi is that is my next question, Arushi. That how did, when you have already done your IM, you were in
Yeah.
data analytics and everything. So how did you get into sustainability? That is
Basically, I mean, I was always aware as a child about climate change, and coming from a family where my maternal family was into farming, and my mother as well, like the kind of work that she's been trying to do in terms of preserving the environment, I got very inspired by that. So I had a background of preserving agriculture basically, and not just commercializing it. So there was that inherent respect for bhumi, for prithvi. And during COVID is when I realized that now I have some time, like I was when we were all stuck in the lockdown, to actually start working in this direction. So I had a very nice time in corporate in terms of learning like some of the best tools in data analytics, and it was a great learning experience, but again, it was just not satisfying. And it wasn't just because of the low salary I was earning at the time. It was also because like I went home, I'd fulfilled all my work for the day, but there was just that satisfaction missing, because I knew it wasn't something that aligned with my sole purpose. And it's something that didn't give me that the peace, the contentment that I was looking for. And once we started working on NYK Daily and business, I knew eventually sustainability is what's going to make me happy, because every time I would even try and say no to a plastic spoon or a straw at a restaurant, I would get a kick out of it. And that kind of pushed me to come to it. That kind of made me realize that, okay, this is what's calling me. And like, I think this is what I need to work in. And so COVID is when I started. Actually, I sat down, researched a lot about what is a low waste lifestyle. I researched about renewable energy. I researched about what are the current goals that our country has to make it a net zero economy. And I started leading a low waste life at home. I started blogging about it, both on Instagram and on my news website. So wrote a lot of long form articles that were quite widely read. And then I made a public Instagram account, and to get more readers and stuff like that, which fortunately did well. And then I realized now people are also like Gen Z, Gen Alpha. They're very interested in this
correct.
domain.
Need
And
that direction. They need that kind of a direction, because
yeah,
sometimes because of that lack of direction, we just keep blaming them that you are not doing this, you're not doing that.
yeah, yeah,
They actually need that kind of a direction from somebody, and
yeah,
somebody is also not very elder, because elder
yeah, correct, correct,
ज्ञान दे रहे हैं. You are giving a
correct,
lot of ज्ञान to us, and they don't need
correct.
ज्ञान. They
They
just
need
need
that
a friendly,
relatability factor.
yeah,
Like they
the
need
relative,
somebody who, correct,
something which is very friendly coming from a
correct,
friend,
correct,
somebody who's very relatable to them, and the
correct, correct,
examples and the even the
correct.
course that they want to do should be very relatable to their
Yeah,
lifestyle. If
yeah.
that is coming from somebody like that, then they will. I'm sure they are all in for that. Yeah.
Correct. And I realized that, I remember when we'd organized our first cleanup drive in Hyderabad, like a few weeks after that, I got a random DM from a random person saying, मैम हमारे घर के पास एक लेक है और वहाँ का पानी काला हो चुका है बिकॉज ऑफ पोल्यूटेंट्स, इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूटेंट्स, प्लीज इसका कुछ करिए, इसको फिक्स करिए. And that moment was so monumental for me in terms of course, like I got very emotional that she thought of reaching out to me instead of reaching out to, like, let's say a government authority or somebody
Absolutely.
in her
Yes.
residential area to fix this. And that
Right.
kind of told me that, okay, I'm going in the right direction. And of course, we are working on restoring that lake as well for her, but for that area. But even then, I just feel that those are very satisfying moments that tell you that this is that helping people, helping the planet is something that has come naturally to me, and I'm able to make a difference in a certain way. So like I said, like once I started blogging, then my influencer career also took off and I started doing a lot of advertisements for companies who are changing their operation, their
Yes.
complete operation
Yes.
line, who are coming up with eco-friendly products. And I try, and of course, I've said no to like at least 50-60 brands till now who were paying me great money because their product, because they were trying to advertise it as plastic, but advertise it as vegan and green
Yeah,
and
which
all of
was
that.
not actually the same. Yeah, that
Yeah,
is what is happening. The influencer market is getting
yeah,
so much negative nowadays. Fake,
correct.
I must sometimes, because
Absolutely
they
fake.
are not selling what actually is good. It is because they have that
Exactly.
kind of a following on their Instagram, so they
Exactly.
are able to
Exactly.
get garner that kind of a
Yeah,
or that brand. They're able to garner
correct.
that revenue, and the
Correct.
not even having. So when you are saying this, Arushi, that you felt that contentment. So what I want to share here with a lot of people who are going to listen to this podcast is that earning money out of whatever you have studied is one thing. But again, coming to your purpose of life, earning money can never be a purpose of life, because money cannot buy you everything, and it cannot buy you happiness for sure. So that is one thing which we have to realize, that we are here for a purpose in this world. And the earlier we are able to get to know our purpose, the better our life would be. As Arushi has already stated, that her life really changed once
Yeah,
she realized that she has found a purpose for her, the soul calling, as
yeah,
she said,
yeah, yeah.
that she is able to do something contributive for the world, for
Correct.
the people around her,
Correct.
and for the whole humanity as such. Because you have to start somewhere. We cannot
Correct.
be feeling that it is such a big task. How
Yes.
does it matter if one
Yes.
person is doing? But it will matter. Even one
Yes.
person's contribution will really matter when we start.
Definitely.
As Arushi started on her sustainability journey just by blogging first, and also
Yeah.
following the low cost life,
Okay.
or low kind of a life in her own life. She started to practice sustainability, using very minimalistic kind of a life, influenced by her mother, which we all have been actually, like her mother and our grandparents, they all
Correct.
actually led those minimalistic lifestyles.
Yeah.
But then,
Correct.
because so much of commercialization of everything, we got so much in the world that we wanted to just store, and have so much in our cupboards, in our kitchens, in our drawing rooms. We wanted to really have so much, which is not
Yeah.
required. Oh,
I
those
think
things.
for me also, like going back to what you said initially, I think money for me is a large part of what I want from life in terms of financial security. Like I want to be able to, like, the worst example that I can give is COVID only, because people wanted hospital beds and they were
Yes.
charging 5 lakhs a day, and starting at 2 lakhs a day. Like 2 lakhs was the minimum price that people were charging just for a bed. And
Correct.
for me, like, I think I do chase money, but not of course it doesn't give me contentment in terms of like sole purpose, but it gives me a stability in my head that, okay, if something happens, I have this much money in the bank that I can afford, I can afford a hospital treatment for myself if there's another pandemic that happens few years later. So like for me, it's about having that financial security, and also like a lot of the cleanup drives and social welfare initiatives that I did, like from community composting to even blogging for that matter, and to cleanup drives and lake conservation efforts. All of these took money.
Correct.
So we need that. We need to be in a position where we have the resources also to be able to carry out our passion. And it
Absolutely.
has to be a practical balance of both, which is, I think, what the Japanese philosophy of Ikigai talks about. That you
Right.
need something to make you money, you need something for your hobby, and something to
And
keep
for
you
your
happy,
purpose.
and for your
Yes.
purpose, and something that you can give back to society for.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that balance for me, and actually, like my latest venture, Santera Industries, the biopellet factory that we've set up, for me, that fixed everything. Like, it
Correct.
made sure that I'm earning money from the business. It made sure that I am giving back to society by bringing clean energy into the world. And it is something that I enjoy doing as well. And it is also empowering the farmers around us. So that
Absolutely.
is yeah. So for me, it was a one-stop solution to actual contentment, where I'm
Correct.
able
So
to do
that
all
is
of these.
what we also like. I always talk about this in the podcast that when the young children, the youth, they feel that they will not be able to earn money if they're
Yeah,
going to become a social entrepreneur. But
yeah,
as what you are doing proves that even if you are a social entrepreneur, you are doing good for the society. What the product you are giving is
yeah.
going to impact the society in a very good way. Still, you are
Yeah.
able to earn. So that
Correct,
mindset has to change. It is not only that if you are technology
correct.
person, if you are a computer, you are a coder, only then you
Yes,
are going to earn money.
yes,
No,
yes.
we can also earn money if we are able to have such kind of
Yeah,
startups. We
absolutely,
start like that. So
absolutely.
we shift our thought process in that way. That will really help the society
Yeah.
also. So coming to the next question, Arushi, which we have already spoken also quite a bit before, but the actual impact in more detail, would you like to share? What is your daily newspaper, which is the newspaper which you have that, and your industry? How are you creating that? And also individually attending
Yeah.
conferences, giving lectures here and there. How are you creating an impact towards a sustainable future?
I think the biggest thing is that I'm aware of the carbon footprint that I am personally generating. I am aware, like, our office spaces are completely carbon neutral. I make sure that most of that all our waste is recycled from the office, from our homes. That in itself is a huge form of impact as well. If you can just be a little accountable for the kind of waste and footprint that you're generating, then nothing like it.
Hmm.
And at home, of course, we have a solar panel as well. We're privileged enough to have an EV as well, like an electric vehicle. So I'm trying to basically cut down on whatever sources of carbon that I see around me. And that is from an individual perspective. And from a company perspective, I think what like the biggest advantage that I see of NYK Daily is that we are able to target and reach every age group. So
Hmm.
our articles are such that, even a 18-year-old, 19-year-old reader who's sitting in like Africa is enjoying the kind of articles that we're putting out about his culture. And somebody in India, an uncle in India who wants to read about just about BJP and Congress is also getting his content there. And when the American elections were going on, we were working with a lot of senators there and bringing out the kind of work that they're doing in their constituencies. So I think it's that global participation that our news daily is able to really achieve, because I think that end of the day, that is what we start. That's the goal that we started with, that we want to make news enjoyable. We want to make news informative and not what do you call it, like not like something, not for TRPs. Basically, we want to make news informative and not masaledar.
Yeah.
And we wanted to make sure that people across cultures and countries can relate to the content that they're reading online.
Hmm.
And because of that, and our team, and actually credits to our team for for taking our vision, for making our vision a reality, because it's their experience which is allowing them to curate such kind of articles for us.
Hmm.
And most importantly, climate awareness. So, of course, we have so many articles, like thousands of articles every day on climate change. But then the I think the art of simplifying it for every age group, and the art
Correct.
of making everything concise in a way
Correct.
that people don't get lost in the maze of climate change is what's important. And I think we have managed to strike that balance where people are getting just enough updates as they need. And we tried to do the exact same thing during COVID as well, during a time when there was misinformation, fake news, and way too many updates on COVID, which made people really negative. So we
Correct.
didn't want that. So we would just upload one article a day or one article every 3 days about the global COVID updates. And I think and we did it in a way that's not scaring people. We
Correct.
did it in a way that, okay, here is information out there for
Yeah.
you can interpret it how you like it. And that is what Gen Z also needs, because they
Correct.
don't want to be surrounded by negativity. They're very clear in their head about what is it that they exactly want.
Correct.
And so that I think when you're able to change perception, whether it's about climate or anything else, that in itself is the biggest impact that you can create. And
Correct.
because then it pushes you into doing better, it pushes you into viewing elections a different way, it pushes you into understanding how you can play a part in not just democracy but in also saving the climate. So
Correct.
then with Santera as well, with our factory, like I said earlier, the biggest impact that I see is, so of course we've already had alternatives to black coal, like there's solar, there's wind and hydro, but I feel like this is the simplest. Like it is the simplest alternative to black coal. And but so that's why the bigger impact that I see is the farmers and burning of waste, because
Correct.
we are able to pay them, so they are getting extra money every month from us, and they don't have to burn their waste anymore and create more pollution in the
Yes.
surrounding areas. So I think these are some of the biggest impacts that I personally see.
Amazing. This is so amazing, because what you are doing by creating this bio pallets for the farmers using their waste
Yeah.
and helping them to earn more. Like, this is a side income which they
Yeah.
are generating out of waste. As we had discussed that day, it is waste to wealth. That is how you are able
Yes.
to give them that wealth, which was just a waste for them.
Correct. Correct.
So I really appreciate you and really applaud you for the work that you are doing.
Thank
So
you.
now coming to, because again, it is a factory, it is a daily, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
are doing so much individually also, and which
Yeah.
we have spoken in our podcast, in all the podcasts, about how waste management can be done, and how low cost living can be, minimalistic life can be dealt, so that we don't produce less consumption,
Yeah.
will have less waste produced. But still, based on what you are doing as a person who is the founder of this company and a founder of the daily that you have, what practical tips can you give to our viewers?
So the first thing is to understand the meaning of minimalism. It's not about, you don't have to completely stop buying plastic and things from the market, because then that's just going to make the economy collapse. So sustainable development, first of all, is a very holistic concept wherein, for me, I see it as 4 pillars. There's planet, there's profit, there's people, and policy. Like it's
Yes.
the 4 P pillars of sustainable development. And what you can do as just somebody, as a regular person at home who has a regular day job, is to start buying less things, but quality and long lasting things. And
Correct.
that could be clothes, that could be your cleaners in the house. So the first easiest thing you can do is buy a bamboo toothbrush and use herbal tooth powder. Both of them are great replacements for traditional plastic oral health care. Then don't use Scotch Brite, because it's very harmful, like very bad chemicals that go into your stomach because your utensils are being washed through with that. So use a coconut coir scrub, and you get it on Amazon if not available offline in your store. And I buy mine in bulk, so I just do one online order and I'm stocked up for the next 6 months. And then and it's actually more long lasting than Scotch Brite also. So even my maid was surprised, and like initially she didn't want to use it. She was like, "Nahi didi, ye kya hai? Main nahi use karungi, wahi mangao." I said, "Try to karke dekho." And it took her like 10 days to get used to it. But then she also saw कि अरे ये तो खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा है, मतलब it's so long lasting, and it is
Right.
half the price of a Scotch Brite also. Like I think one bulk mein I got it for like 300 or something, and that is that is for one piece when you buy the metal and plastic one. So anyway, and so that is one thing. The next thing you can do is use a soap. Okay, even if you're not comfortable with herbal soap, at least start using soap. instead of a body wash, because as wonderfully smelling as body washes might be, they are bad for your skin, they are bad for your health, they are bad for your drainage systems, and they are bad for the planet. So body wash to bilkul hi use mat karo, hata do bilkul bathroom se. And herbal soap, if you have access to, please buy that. In fact, I remember my grandmother was saying hum to wo Medimix use karte the. That chota sa, that is
Right.
also herbal soap.
Yeah, actually, Medimix, or maybe that something with Chandan wala.
Mysore sandal,
Ah,
yeah.
Chandan wala.
Yeah. So
Yes,
all
yes.
this new, and if you don't want to use that, at least use like a modern one also. That's also fine. But use soap. And for shampoo, if you're using, like, if you don't want to switch to a hair powder, then use at least buy one shampoo at a time. Like, don't hoard up on. I see people hoarding up on 3-4 shampoos, 2-3 conditioners. It's very unnecessary. Even for conditioners, if you're not traveling at home, you can just use banana to condition your hair to make it soft, like banana pulp, and it doesn't take time. It takes just 2 minutes. So all this nonsense about organic herbal things being more time taking is rubbish. So it's
Correct.
just 2 minutes. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and then even cleaners, same applies to cleaners. This Harpic and Lysol, all of these are nonsense. They don't do any good in the house. They just smell good. So and in fact, I'm so glad that now finally we have all these herbal, 100% herbal cleaners which are made out of bioenzymes and stuff available on Instamart and Blinkit and Big Basket. Because even if you don't have the bandwidth of going again and again and buying things, ठीक है, आप उसको order भी कर रहे हो अगर, so it's coming to your doorstep in 10 minutes.
Correct.
And of course, that also generates a bit of carbon footprint. But like, because in Nagpur, for me, it is a challenge to find these cleaners at supermarkets. So I have to order everything in bulk in like 2-3 orders on my Instamart and stuff. But the thing is, the house is much cleaner. And the ingredients are very mild. So it's very good for people who have babies and pets also in the house.
Correct.
And so then this is one thing. And again, it just takes that 30 seconds of extra effort to type herbal cleaner when you're on Instagram, on Instamart and on Blinkit. So I typed, and same goes for your toilet paper also. If somebody needs, there's bamboo pulp toilet paper, which is fully compostable. So use that. Use compostable garbage bags. One issue that I personally, again, you mentioned practical, so I want to be honest also.
Yes,
The
yes,
issue the issue I had with compostable garbage bags is that they are not very long lasting. So once I ordered like 10 rolls in bulk, I thought, chalo ek hi baar online order karungi, not too many times. And then because it's compostable, made from cornstarch, it's very soft. So it started disintegrating very easily. And if it's raining outside and your packet is just lying there, it's going to become a mess. So like I would recommend viewers to use it only if you have a covered like garbage area. And for that, it's fine. But I had a hard time with it like in the rain. So now I've started putting it indoors also and things like that. So and again, it's not very long lasting. So it's not very sturdy. Unfortunately. So that is one thing. And I think, and if you have money, if you can afford it, please install solar panels and get an electric car. And the best thing is right now you have a 60%, almost 60% subsidy on solar panels. And this scheme was launched by Modi ji on the day the Ram Mandir was inaugurated, I think in January. So it was, he announced the scheme on that day, which is the Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana. And now, like, you can just, it's not like a hassle anymore where you have to go out, look for vendors who will install a panel. You just have put a post also on this on Instagram where, I've mentioned the process in detail. So you just go on to the PM Surya Ghar website, register yourself there. They will come do everything for you. All you have to do is upload a few documents online. That's it. And it's not like वो 3-4 लाख का खर्चा भी नहीं है अब वो 1-2 लाख का खर्चा हो चुका है. So this is again a lifetime expense. So and no maintenance needed for these panels for the next 25 years.
Okay, but how much electricity will it generate? Like solar panels always
as much as you need. Like even if it is cloudy outside, even if it's winters or less sunlight, it doesn't make any difference. You can use any amount of electricity in the house, whether it's your air conditioners or other equipment, kuch bhi ho. Like it doesn't make a difference. Our bill is zero now. And you can charge your electric car also, even that bill will be zero. So because we charge our EV at home itself, and the bill is zero for that. So like I think it's a great investment. Like we had to spend more because that time the subsidy wasn't out. मैंने कहा अरे एक दो साल बाद करते हैं, सस्ता होता है.
I know,
I
know. But this is very wonderful because I will be able to share this, and when people will hear this, they will really be encouraged to get to this kind of like energy at their home instead of electricity. They can use this way, and this is such detailed thing that you have told. So I'm sure people will really benefit out of it. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So lastly, we will just share a message. I know what you have spoken is all a message, but yeah, still one last message for the viewers.
I think stop over consumerism. That is the first problem. So don't just be aware. Like try and implement some of the awareness as well. Like we spoke about this earlier, that right now this is the age of this is the age where we are getting too much digital information and absolutely zero real life implementation. So आप जो भी reels आप scroll कर रहे हो social media पे, वो थोड़ा सा आप implement भी कर लो, whether it's fitness or business or sustainability, anything. And focus a little on that. And the next thing is please don't be in the misconception that sustainability is expensive. It is not. It is actually much cheaper, whether it's the clothes that you're buying or the minimalistic lifestyle you're leading at home. And take pride in the cultural roots that your country has. And like if you have even a little bit of interest in, let's say, spirituality, you will understand that India is a country thousands of years ago in the Vedas. There is a complete verse like the Bhumi Sukta, which is dedicated to just environmental preservation, and the verses are so beautiful when you read them. So if you want to read, take 10 minutes to read that, and along with other things, and have a balanced mindset. Like I think the problem in India is that we have a lot of extremity in environmentalism. Like बहुत negative field बन चुका है वो. So unfortunately, and I might, not get, I might not get appreciated for saying this, but वही है ना कि don't get into too much of activism. Like be productive about things.
Correct. We have to be productive. Very, very important. Because if you सिर्फ झंडे लेके जाने से कुछ नहीं होगा ना. We have to work on it and start with yourself.
It is a mental burden. Like it's a mental burden to be an activist. Like, and abhi to we have digital activists also, like who are who are doing this online, and instead of sitting on the roads and protesting. And it's important. I'm not saying activism is not important, but today it has taken a very ugly turn, where people are only obsessed with taking a burden on their shoulders and constantly screaming about the problems. If you want to fix something, be part of the solution by working in the system.
Absolutely.
So, like,
focus on the solution. That is most important.
Yeah. And don't get drained by seeing all the problems around you. And if you have been, like, this time it was so shocking. I never puke or vomit or anything. And this year in Nagpur, the temperature went up to 55 or something. And I didn't even realize it. But I was puking in the evening, like 2-3 times, because I was out the whole day. I didn't realize the temperature was so bad. And I said, why am I puking? ऐसा तो कभी नहीं हुआ इतना गर्मी. A week later, I realized that I had gotten a heat stroke.
Oh, yeah.
So, and in the middle of that heat stroke, I had to travel to Bombay for a beach cleanup. And it was insane. Like, I think that was my turning point, where I realized that air quality is not enough. Plastic consumption is not enough. You have to reduce the temperature.
Yes, absolutely. It is the climate which is really deteriorating. You have to really work for that.
And we focus so much on the plastic part of it that we forget that poverty and hunger is also a part of sustainability.
Correct.
So, like
all
clean
the 17.
water.
Yes, all the 17 of them are so integrated that even if you start with one, it will affect the other one also.
Yeah, correct.
Yes. So thank you
one
so
more
much.
thing I would like to tell
Yeah.
like viewers that if like that, you know, when I was starting my computer science engineering, so we had only one field, which was computer science. But now you have specializations in undergrad itself, like data analytics, artificial intelligence, that, and now similar courses are also going to start in environmental engineering. So,
Right.
you know, today environmental, like I actually wanted to study environmental engineering that time itself, but I did not have the option, and I was very scared of doing it also because the job opportunities were less. But today that's
Actually,
not the case. So don't shy away from picking environmental engineering as your undergrad or as your master's subject, because you have enough job opportunities today, and it is only going to multiply tenfold in the next few years. So it's become a great career opportunity with well-paying like abilities, and a chance for you to do something that is creating impact along with making you some money.
wonderful. That is so wonderful. So I'm really appreciating Arushi for giving us so much insight into sustainability. And this is
Thank you
practical
so much.
sustainability. Practically, she has given us so much insight. And coming from a youth, I'm sure it will be more relatable to so many youth who will be watching this podcast.
So
So
much.
thank you so much, Arushi.
Thank
And
you so much, ma'am.
yeah, it was a great pleasure having you on the podcast. Namaste.
Likewise, it was lovely talking to you. Namaste, ma'am.